Just a sec. Is Jen Fraley from New Hampshire here?
Wow.
New Hampshire is here, but not Jen. But I love this question, very well put. This is to you, Rob. When I first heard Eric Packer speak, I was surprised to hear the change in Rob's voice. It effectively captured Packer's disconnect with those around him. Who chose to change your voice, and what was the reasoning behind it?
I think I did.
That was my guess.
I don't know. I mean, there's a very... it's weird because David said at the end, before I'd met Don DeLillo, I only met him when we went to Cannes, and but I thought there was a really obvious cadence in the writing, and I could kind of hear it as soon as I started reading it. I mean, I can't hear that the accent in it sounded similar to Don's, but like a bunch of people said it sounds like DeLillo's voice, which is really bizarre. I mean, I'd never even watched an interview with him. But
maybe you went on YouTube and watched him.
I didn't. I literally, I wasn't doing anything. I mean, it just seemed that was right from the beginning. I was trying to, for some reason, I got obsessed with Howard Dean, like this accent. I'm not even vaguely doing a Howard Dean impression at all, but I was so into his voice. I thought that guy would have, he would have been a great president just for his voice.
Right.
It didn't even matter what he was saying. And then he got let down by his voice. That's really strange.
Fortunately, Eric Packer did not get let down by his voice.
No, he did not.
But I think in a weird way you could say that it was Don DeLillo who chose that voice for Rob because of the way he wrote his dialogue, which I've transcribed very faithfully in the script. I mean, in a way, the dialogue determines the voice.
When you're working with an instrument as good as this one, that's
correct.
True.
If Rob were a violin, he would be a Stradivarius.
There you go.
That's a compliment, by the way.
Can't go wrong in this crowd with complimenting Rob Packer. I think you're fairly safe that way. This is another nice question from Sarah Morrill. Oh! Whoa!
The only people who've heard about this movie are in the room.
Okay. Whoa. Just getting a tiny bit of a feeling what it's like to be you, Rob. Whoa. The energy. Our friend Sarah, our buddy.
Oh,
Yeah.
thanks a lot.
There you go. Represent. Do you feel, you can pull me up if I get this wrong, Sarah. Do you feel any differently about limousines after spending so much time filming in one? What an excellent question.
I've always liked limousines, to be honest.
Are you a town car or a limo guy?
I mean, if you could have a limo every time, I would always take the limo, to be honest.
You would?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of, I think that's one of the nicest ways to travel. I always go down to Comic-Con in a limo. It's like the only time I ever get to use one. But it was great.
You mean from LA to Las Vegas? Or?
To San Diego, yeah.
Okay.
One of the greatest trips I've even, I went through the army base there once, Camp, was it Pendleton? Yeah. And it was kind of just 80 miles of just tanks either side and helicopters and going down this
Okay, but let's just talk about this for a sec. Town car, you're in a nice seat. The guys or the woman is sitting right there and driving you. Limo, you've got about 20 feet between you. What do you do with the 20 feet? I mean, you like it, but what's it good for, really?
It's just it's like a Packerism. It's like it's just the fact that it's there. It's the
right.
It's worth it just to be there. Also, a limousine now is probably cheaper to hire than a town car, which is this funny thing about it.
So it's a weird thing is if you lose the lotto at when you call for a town car, you end up with the white stretch limo that's about this long. I'm pretty sure Yasmin Alves from Brazil is not here. I was just in Sao Paulo, a great place, but you're not here, Yasmin. You're out there on the interwebs. We see a lot about the technological advancement in your movie. Do you believe that it is a tool, the tool is constructive or destructive to people's lives? Very good question.
Technology in general. Yeah. Well, I've always thought, people sometimes when they're feeling a little anti-technology, they think of it as something that's kind of imposed on mankind and it's inhuman, if not dehumanized. But in fact, technology is only human. I mean, we're the only creatures that create technology, and it's always a reflection of ourselves. It begins with things like the telephone, which is an extension of the voice and the ear, and weapons are an extension of the hand and the fist and all of that stuff. And then it becomes more and more sort of abstracted, but it's always a reflection of humans. And therefore, it has the same positive and negative aspects to it that humans have. It has incredible potential for destruction and for construction. And so I think, as I say, it's a sort of an embodiment of what we are, for good and bad. That's what I think.
Yeah,
so it's not just only a bad thing or a good thing.
But in the movie.
Well, this was a general question. This wasn't about just the movie, right? I mean,
right.
Yeah.
But in this movie, his relationship, technology is a little transparent in that it's very much at the fingertips, and he almost is moving millions and billions sort of absently.
That's right. With the brush of his fingers.
With the brush of his finger.
Yeah.
And it's, as things become more and more friction-free, and our newspaper has written about this, the faster it goes, the more friction-free it goes, the worse it gets.
Yeah, well, it depends what you're talking about because, well, I don't necessarily want to get into it, but you can now do blood tests with your iPhone, and have those tests transmitted over the net to a doctor who's hundreds of miles away. Right. And so if you need that, that's not a bad thing. And it's not a bad thing that that's fast. So I don't think you can make a blanket statement about speed itself being bad. It also, technology alters us. That's us really altering us. But our metabolism is different now. I literally think that our brains are quite different than they were 1,000 years ago, or even 500 years ago.
Twitter has turned mine to mushy pudding, basically.
I could tell that, and I was kind of alluding to that.
And
it's only been in the last 10 minutes that your brain is gone. That's the other
It's a slow, progressive, but inexorable process.
It has little spikes.
Yeah. I love this question. It's from Karen Rapp from Pennsylvania.
That's me.
Wow.
Let's give it up for Karen.
I think she's lying. I think this is an imposter.
You're going to like this question because we discussed it before. I cheated a little bit and we chatted. There's a lot of humor in the film.
Yeah.
Some people seem to get it and others seem to be afraid to laugh because it's so often dark. Do you find that was the same with the cast?
With them not getting the humor?
Did you have to remind me, hey, this is a little bit funny here, come on?
No, I think the cast really were very much onto that, a very perky bunch of people, this cast. And we were all very aware of it and playing with it on the set as well, But not only funny. And the thing is that the actor's terror is an interesting thing. The fear that you won't be good enough or that you can see that it could be good.
Well, directors prey on that, basically. Right?
We manipulate them any way we can, really. And we'll use anything. But it's not only funny, but I think the whole complexity of what was going on at every scene was very present to all the actors, And it becomes very obvious once. Even if you didn't see it on the page, as soon as you start to play it, it becomes obvious.
I found because I found it as soon as I read it. It was very, very obvious to me, and it was the kind of the terror of having to prove yourself. You're like, I've definitely got to concentrate on the kind of the monologues. I've got to, the philosophical aspect of it. You kind of, you know, you're so scared of looking dumb, basically. Like when you figure, like that's what I was. The first time I saw it was, I didn't laugh at all the first time I saw it. But
watching the movie.
Yeah, I literally had to have other people around to watch it with me because I mean, no one was really like playing it for laughs. I mean,
but it's true. We did an interview today with someone I won't mention, who was fine. But when Rob and I started to talk about how funny the movie was, she said, "Really?"
Yeah.
I said, "Well, did you see it with a bunch of people? I mean, didn't they laugh?" She said, "No, I saw it alone." And I can see how if you watch it alone and were responding to one particular dark tone in the movie, which certainly runs through everything, you might miss the humor. But if you're in a room full of people, as soon as one person gets it and starts to laugh at the things that are funny, then that opens it up, you know. But that was just this morning. Yeah.
That's why I hate seeing movies with industry crowds, because you're like
cynical.
You're like a loser if you laugh out loud. And to me, I want to be in the third row with a big bucket of popcorn, just laughing my buns off if something's funny, and not be sitting there with my pen. Was that truly funny? Is that ironic or funny? You know?
I never watch movies with people like that.
Yeah. This is a question for Rob from Mary Hubble.
You can't. I thought you were all claiming it.
The Hubble Space Center.
Whoa. We usually don't do it this way, so I didn't get the hang of this, but I got it now. Good to see you, Mary. And I hope I do justice to your question. Eric Packer seems, this to you, Rob. Eric Packer seems almost diametrically opposed to who you are as a person. I wonder if that made playing the character easier or harder for you.
I don't know. I mean, it's like, you know, you kind of, I don't think, I mean, you can't play, I guess you can play somebody else. You can't be somebody else, like in a movie. I mean, you kind of, I think every part, you know, if you're spending the majority of your time on a set, you're just bringing in stuff in your life, and you know what I liked about it was the words. I just wanted to say the words, but it's really just you. You're just putting on a voice. You're putting on a voice, and you get whatever your impulses tell you to do with your gestures and stuff, and also the people who are coming into the movie. I mean, you react to them in certain ways, and it's really, you know, whoever David decided to pull up in the car with me. I mean, it's always entirely different. I literally, right up until we started shooting, I could not predict. I had no plan at all until I literally started speaking, and then you gradually have less and less of a plan, but it's going at that point. Yeah, I don't think it's diametrically opposed at all. I mean, I liked it. I like him. I really like him, and I like watching the movie. I think he's cool. I mean, like, it's kind of.
Well, I'll get that same shot this Friday to see this film, see the work that you guys did together. You guys, your questions were excellent. Just for the record, I think our guests did a great job. Thank you. Rob,
Wow.
we love you. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
And